Have you ever felt trapped in your own cycle? Reading one self-help book after another, buying courses, watching endless motivational clips, yet finding yourself stuck in the exact same place, frustrated that nothing ever truly changes, wondering if maybe something is wrong with you. The truth is, it is not about knowing more, it is about doing. Knowledge without action becomes a heavy weight that pushes you down rather than lifting you up. Many fall into what experts call self-help poisoning. You consume more information, feel a temporary spark of hope, then crash into guilt when you realize your life looks the same. The American Psychological Association found that while 70% of people feel inspired at the start of a program, fewer than 30% continue taking consistent steps. That means most stay stuck in a loop of starting and stopping, never breaking free. Think about Sarah in New York, a bright professional who bought course after course, promising herself that this one would change everything. Yet every time she put off applying the lessons. One morning she decided to test something different. Not a huge leap, just 5 minutes of journaling before checking her phone. That single small shift began a chain reaction that transformed her sense of control. If you are honest, you have had your own moments like this. Moments when you swore tomorrow would be different, but the cycle repeated. The pain is not from lack of desire, it is from the endless gap between knowing and doing. That gap becomes a prison wall built of excuses, distractions, and fear. Right now, I want you to recall the last time you postponed a step you knew could change everything. Picture that moment. Feel the weight of hesitation and recognize it. Because this is the wall you are going to break today. Comment the words, "I want to break through," if you are ready to step out of the loop. Ask yourself now, why is it that you know you must change but still cannot move? The answer to that question will open the door to the journey ahead. Because your brain is not designed for happiness but for survival. This single truth changes everything. The organ inside your skull has one mission: to keep you alive. It constantly scans for danger, threat, and risk. When you decide to study for a crucial exam or start a project, the rational part of your mind knows it matters. But the deeper circuits of the brain resist. Think of a student preparing for the SAT. He sits with books open, ready to focus. But within minutes, he is scrolling on social media for hours. It is not laziness. It is the amygdala whispering that effort, struggle, and possible failure feel unsafe. Avoiding work gives a false sense of comfort, so the brain pushes you toward easy distractions. This is why you procrastinate. It is not moral weakness. It is the biology of self-protection. Daniel Kahneman, the Nobel Prize winner 2002, showed that humans fear loss more than they value gain. That bias shapes decisions every day. Starting to study may bring the reward of a high score later, but the possibility of failing feels heavier, so the brain leans toward avoidance. John, a 28-year-old in California, dreamed of creating his own business. For years he delayed, telling himself he was not ready. He stayed in a job he disliked because the brain prefers familiar discomfort over uncertain risk. One day, he realized his hesitation was not personal weakness, but an ancient system trying to shield him. Awareness gave him permission to start small. He picked up the phone and made one business call. That call became the spark for his journey. When you see procrastination through this lens, the shame disappears. You are not broken, you are wired for safety. The challenge is not to erase fear, but to work with it. Right now, reflect on the times you delayed something that mattered. Notice how your body pulled you toward comfort in the moment. Understand that this pattern is predictable, and know that once you see it clearly, you can change it. If you have ever stalled because of fear of being wrong, drop a comment saying, "I have understood," to mark your first step beyond it. The question now is, how can fear itself become the fuel that drives you forward instead of the chain that holds you back? Because fear is not the enemy, but the signal of your own expansion. Every time your heart races before speaking, every drop of sweat on your hands, every tremor in your voice is not proof that you are weak. It is proof that your nervous system is charging your body with energy. Fear is not a wall to stop you. It is a message that you are standing on the edge of growth. Imagine a student in class in America, called to speak in front of peers. His chest tightens, his mind screams to escape. Yet all those sensations are the body preparing oxygen, blood, and focus for performance. The meaning you give to the feeling changes everything. If you call it anxiety, you shrink. If you call it readiness, you expand. Harvard Business School tested this in 2013. People told to say, "I am excited," before a presentation scored higher than those who tried to stay calm. The shift of words reframed stress into power. Emily, a young singer in Texas, once shook before every performance. She would stand backstage, trembling, telling herself she was nervous. Her voice cracked and she wanted to quit. Then she learned to change her inner language. Before walking on stage, she whispered, "I am eager." The effect was instant. Her first complete performance happened not because fear vanished, but because fear became fuel. This is the secret most never learn. Energy is neutral. Your interpretation directs it. You can choose to see fear as a chain or as fire. Think about the last time your body reacted before an important moment. Instead of wishing those sensations away, imagine welcoming them as proof that you are alive and ready. This practice turns hesitation into momentum. Right now, let that truth sink in. If you want to turn your fear into force, comment "I am eager" and declare it. Because the faster you embrace fear as a guide, the quicker you step into arenas that once felt impossible. Fear is not here to break you, it is here to wake you. The real question is, how do we move beyond the wall of delay and finally cross into real action? Because just like an electron passing through a barrier, you too can move straight through fear. In physics, there is a strange and beautiful phenomenon called quantum tunneling. It describes how a tiny particle can appear on the other side of an energy wall without having enough force to climb over it. Scientists have proven this in experiments with electrons. They do not always follow the expected path. They sometimes slip through, breaking the logic of resistance. Now imagine this idea inside your daily life. You want to enter a gym, yet every time you walk by the doors, a voice inside says, "Not today." The barrier is not physical, it is invisible, built from hesitation and self-doubt. And like the electron, you can choose to tunnel through it with one small act. The action does not need to be huge. It can be lacing your shoes. It can be walking 10 minutes on the treadmill. That is your tunnel. That is how you emerge on the other side of fear without needing massive strength. Michael in Seattle lived this truth. For years, he delayed exercise. He told himself he would start when he felt more ready, when he had more time, when conditions were perfect. None of those days arrived. One morning, he decided to try a different rule. He promised himself to run for 10 minutes. Just 10. That short run became the moment of tunneling. It cracked the shell of resistance. From that day, his lifestyle shifted. not because he gained sudden willpower, but because he learned to pass through the wall instead of fighting it. Your brain will always invent reasons to pause. Yet physics shows us that even matter itself knows a secret path through blocks. So the lesson is clear. Do not wait until you feel strong enough. Step forward in the smallest way and watch how the barrier dissolves. If you are ready to cross today, write the words "I have started" and let that be your tunnel. Fear will still whisper, doubt will still rise, but you will already be on the other side. The next challenge is not just to break through once. The deeper question is, how can we keep that movement alive and turn a first step into steady momentum? The secret is the accumulation of energy from the smallest steps. Great change rarely begins with massive leaps. It begins with consistent drops of effort that compound over time. Think of someone in America who dreams of writing a book. They picture the finished manuscript, hundreds of pages bound together. But when they sit to begin, the task feels crushing. They never finish a single chapter because the goal is too heavy. The truth is, you do not need to complete the mountain in one climb. You only need to take a single step today and another tomorrow. James Clear calls this the power of atomic habits. He shows that a 1% improvement each day creates a 37 times greater result after 1 year. That is the math of compounding. Darren Hardy describes the same principle as the compound effect. Small daily choices add up quietly, then explode into visible transformation. Lisa in Chicago proved this with her dream of authorship. For years, she told herself she would write when she had long stretches of time. That day never came. Then, she committed to a ritual, 10 minutes of writing each morning. At first, the progress seemed too slow to matter. A paragraph here, a page there. But after 12 months, she looked at her desk and realized she had completed an entire book. The breakthrough was not a single burst of genius. It was the ripple effect of small acts sustained. Your life works in the same way. Every minor action holds the seed of multiplication. The hardest part is not doing the work. The hardest part is believing that such small work is enough. Right now, I want you to choose one action, however tiny, and write it down. Comment the words, "I start with 1%, to mark your decision, because the power of compounding only unlocks when you act today. Waiting for the perfect moment keeps you in place. Moving in small steps moves you into a new trajectory. The question that now remains is if a small action can carry such strength. How can it be directed to create a breakthrough that transforms the course of your entire life? Because you are not only acting, you are also broadcasting a frequency into the universe. Every decision, every word, every movement carries a vibration that extends far beyond your immediate surroundings. Physics has shown us through the double-slit experiment that particles change their behavior when observed. That means consciousness itself is not a passive witness. It shapes the outcome. Carl Jung described this through the concept of synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that seem random on the surface, yet align perfectly with your inner state. Imagine an American worker searching for direction. He feels stuck, unsure of his next move. One evening, he chooses to attend a small tech gathering, not expecting much. During a casual conversation with a stranger, an opportunity opens that transforms his future. This is not simply luck, it is resonance. David in Boston lived this truth. After losing his job, he spent months feeling powerless. Then he made a choice. He went to a local meet, just one small step to connect with others. That night, he met a partner who later helped him launch his own startup. The ripple from one action became a new career. When you see life through this lens, you realize your energy is a signal. Fear sends one broadcast, hope sends another. Doubt pulls certain experiences. Courage attracts different ones. You are always in dialogue with reality, whether you notice it or not. The key is to choose your frequency consciously. Instead of asking if the universe listens, assume that it always does. Then ask what message you are sending right now. If you believe in this resonance, write the words "I broadcast a new frequency" in the comments to anchor it. Because when you align your choices with the energy you wish to receive, life responds with openings you never predicted. You are no longer moving alone. You are part of a field that reflects back to you. The deeper question becomes, how do you tune your inner signal so your intuition can clearly guide you toward the right path, rather than scattering your energy in random directions? Because intuition is intelligence faster than reason, drawn from the vast storage of your subconscious mind. Every second your brain processes mountains of information you never notice. It compares patterns, recalls memories, and predicts outcomes in silence. This is called predictive processing. Your nervous system is always running simulations, scanning for signals, and preparing responses before you have time to think. That sudden feeling in your chest, that instant yes or no, is not magic. It is data compressed into a flash of knowing. Many ignore it, believing only slow analysis counts as real intelligence. Yet science shows otherwise. Gerd Gigerenzer from the Max Planck Institute discovered that heuristics, the quick rules your brain uses, often outperform long calculations when decisions must be made under pressure. Intuition is not guessing, it is recognition at the speed of lightning. Picture an investor in America about to commit money into a deal. The spreadsheets look solid, the partners seem convincing, but a quiet warning arises inside. He hesitates, pulls back, and days later the investment collapses. Logic alone could not protect him, but intuition did. Jennifer in Miami experienced this with her travel plans. She was set to board a flight, ticket in hand, schedule ready. Yet she felt something heavy telling her not to go. She listened, stepped aside, and hours later discovered the flight had been delayed 12 hours. She saved herself from exhaustion by trusting her inner compass. How many times have you felt such signals only to ignore them and regret later? Your body whispers through sensation, tension, or a sudden calmness that guides you. The art is not to wait for perfect proof, but to respect the quiet messages that come. This does not mean rejecting logic. It means combining rational thought with the deeper wisdom that runs beneath it. If you have ever lived a moment where intuition saved you, write "I trust intuition" now to claim it. Because the more you practice listening, the sharper this compass becomes. The real challenge ahead is not whether intuition exists, but how we can train it to grow clearer and more reliable as a daily guide. You can train your brain the same way you train a muscle. Strength does not appear overnight. It grows with small, steady exercises, repeated with care. Your mind is no different. Every thought you choose, every practice you adopt, builds new pathways. When stress rises in work or life, the untrained brain reacts with chaos. The trained brain responds with clarity. One of the simplest yet most powerful tools is meditation. Sitting quietly, focusing on breath, noticing sensations, gives your nervous system a reset. Harvard research in 2011 proved that just 8 weeks of meditation changed brain structure. Participants increased gray matter in the hippocampus, the area linked to learning, memory, and emotional control. That means a daily ritual can physically reshape your mind. Another practice is journaling. Writing down thoughts, feelings, and insights makes hidden patterns visible. It turns the noise of the subconscious into language you can understand. Paying attention to body signals also sharpens intuition. Tension in the stomach, tightness in the chest, or sudden ease in breathing are all messages. When you listen, you connect logic with instinct. Robert from San Francisco discovered this power. He had been anxious for years, struggling with constant pressure at work. After 2 months of daily meditation, he noticed a shift. His stress decreased, his focus improved, and he began making wiser choices. The change did not come from luck. It came from training his brain like a muscle. You can do the same. It does not require hours. It requires consistency. Even 5 minutes a day builds strength over time. Right now, you can decide to begin. Comment: I train my quantum brain if you are ready to try. This declaration marks the first rep in your mental workout. Each repetition of focus, each page of journaling, each mindful pause adds weight to your capacity. Over weeks and months, the accumulation becomes visible. You grow calmer, sharper, more aligned. The final question then is, once we strengthen this inner instrument, how do we ensure that we live in alignment with authenticity and remain true to our highest values? Because you are only truly free when you live in alignment with your higher self. Masks may please the crowd for a while, but they drain your energy with every performance. Pretending to be someone else, chasing trends that do not reflect your heart slowly empties your spirit. Authenticity, on the other hand, fuels you. When you live in truth, you no longer burn energy keeping up appearances. You radiate naturally, and people feel it. Research from Brené Brown at the University of Houston proves that vulnerability and authenticity increase social connection. The more real you are, the more people resonate with you. Think of an influencer in America who spent years curating an image of constant joy. Behind the screen, they were exhausted, anxious, and burnt out. The likes grew, but the soul shrank. Then they chose a different path. They spoke honestly about their struggles, and suddenly the connection deepened. Mark, a YouTuber in Los Angeles, lived this shift. He once forced himself to act cheerful in every video, hiding his depression. The effort was crushing. His creativity faded. One day he decided to share the truth. He opened up about his battles with mental health. The response was overwhelming. His channel grew faster than ever, not because he was perfect, but because he was real. Viewers felt his honesty and supported him more. This is the paradox. When you hide flaws, people may admire the mask, but they cannot touch your soul. When you show truth, they see themselves in you and trust you. Authenticity is not weakness. It is strength. Right now, ask yourself where you are still performing for others, and what part of you longs to be expressed. The cost of faking is burnout. The reward of truth is freedom. If you are ready to choose truth, write "I am myself" in the comments to anchor it, because the energy of realness is the energy that sustains. And the bigger question waiting for you is, how can this journey of authenticity become not just a choice, but the turning point that reshapes your entire life? Because in this very moment, you can choose to keep living the same or step into a new quantum reality. Life is always offering a fork in the road. One path feels safe but stale. The other feels uncertain but alive. Imagine someone in America standing at that exact crossroads. They can remain in a dull job that drains their soul or leap into the fire of building a dream business. Both choices exist. Both are real, but only one leads to expansion. Throughout this journey, we have explored the pieces of transformation. We saw that procrastination is not weakness, but biology. We discovered that fear can be reframed into fuel. We learned the power of small steps compounding into great change. We saw that our energy broadcasts into the universe and returns as synchronicity. We opened the door to intuition as a fast compass. We trained the brain like a muscle to handle stress and sharpen clarity. We recognized the freedom that comes only from living authentically. And now all these threads meet here in this instant of decision. Prohaska's research in 1997 showed that the single most important moment in lasting change is the decision to begin. Once the mind declares a new path, momentum builds behind it. Amanda from Denver embodied this. She was a lawyer, respected but miserable. Her heart burned for art. One day she chose to leave the safety of her career. She started painting, exhibiting, sharing. Today she runs her own gallery, alive in the reality she once only imagined. Her story is proof that one choice can create an entire world. The same power is in your hands right now. The question is not if you can change. The question is if you will choose. This moment is your doorway. Step through and the rest will align. If you are ready to send your signal to life, write "I choose a new reality" in the comments. Like, share, and mark your commitment so the energy multiplies. And thank you. Out of millions of videos, you have chosen this one, and in doing so, you have chosen yourself. The journey is not ending. It is beginning here, with your decision to create the reality you are meant to live.